my peers divine. Kundalini running up my spine. I climbed out the grit and grime. It's my time, I was meant to shine.
What's good, y'all? I just got done watching a podcast, Lex Friedman podcast. He's like a Russian American scientist. I think he has a PhD in like computer engineering. Really good guy. I really like him. He has really good questions. Really good. He's really smart dude. Seems like he's really moral, and he seems to be unbiased enough, and just I think it's he has like a lot of followers, like millions of followers, probably like 3-4 million followers. He has great guests. Some of the most powerful, smartest people go on his podcast, and and I think it's really fortunate that we have a guy that good, that kind of smart and good, to be a leader in this area, asking these difficult questions. I love podcasts because it's kind of like you can really get a feel for the guest on there, because it's like when you see somebody talk for like 2 hours or an hour or even 30 minutes, you can get more of a feel for who that person really is, opposed to like if you see somebody on the news and they just talk for like 5 minutes and everything's like super scripted and kind of fake, where I feel like he has like really like questions that like normal people would ask, and his guests have to answer them. And so he has like, and I guess that's why a lot of these politicians don't go on there, but everybody else does. So it's like, but yeah, like I really recommend that podcast. But yeah, he had the guest that was on this one. You can see it in the background. His name is Sam Altman. I think I said it right. He's the CEO of OpenAI, the company that released that open sourced Chat GPT. And that's kind of, if you're not familiar with Chat GPT, then damn, bro, where you been? But no, but like Chat GTP, I can't even say it, damn, and it's only 3 letters. Chat GTP is an AI program interface, and you can basically type in anything and then it'll do it. It can write code. It can tell you damn near anything. It's just really crazy. The latest one is Chat GTP 4. It could do all type of amazing stuff. It's like this groundbreaking thing that's taken over the world, and it's amazing, but really powerful tool. But anyway, he got into a saga where like this drama where he's the CEO of it, but somehow he got fired, but then he got reinstated because he fought it, and I'm glad he got reinstated, because I think he's, especially after hearing him. I never really heard him talk. I kind of liked him, but after watching this podcast, I think we're really fortunate to have somebody like that leading the charge in AI. Like, he's definitely not perfect. He's human, but he's a lot better than, what I'm saying, what could be, have control of this power. And I love the fact that he's open sourcing it, and to people, because I'm definitely not for like corporations and government having all the power, and then because they're going to use it to control and manipulate us. But yeah, and anyway, and spoiler alert, I'm gonna spoil everything, but even though he got fired, he says nothing good but good things about his team, and I think he I think like I said, I think we're real fortunate to have the kind of team that is in control of this company. I think it's a pretty good company, and from what I hear about it, I support it. But what I like about him is that he's honest. He comes off as pretty honest, which I think is rare with a lot of these people that have a lot of this power and have a lot of brains. And he also comes off as like he's human. He doesn't like come off like he's above everybody and everything, and he's fair. And like I said, he puts together like a team that that I feel like is good and I approve of personally. I got to look more into it, but yeah, I think he has a pretty good team, and he wants the power in the people's hands, not just government and himself, his business. But I also like the fact that he's like vulnerable in it. Like he talks about getting fired, and you see these guys, and it's like they have so much power and they have so much like technological wizards, but he's still like you said like, oh damn, he's human. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like and he's not afraid to like show that. Like he talked about like kind of like the depressive state he went in when he got fired and stuff like that. Whereas a lot of these guys will never admit none of that. They're completely fake. And I like or kind of like the people with this power to show their humanity, to stop pretending to be like, you know what I mean? Like, stop trying to pretend to be like you're perfect and all this stuff, and like you don't have emotions and you don't, and all this other bullshit, like the presidents do. You need a leader that kind of like looks strong and everything, but it's like all these people, they're people. You shouldn't get fooled by the fact that they're in suits or they're really smart, because even though they're really smart, they have, of course, aspects of them that are just kind of dumb, like all of us. You know what I mean? So it's like I want to see less of the facade of that I see on the media and TV and presidents and politicians and business owners that are just reading from a script and it's just completely fake, and look kind of like people that trying to come off as like they look down on people and think they're above people. And it's like, no, let us know what's going on, not everything, but like let us know what's going on. Like you're just a human like all of us. You know what I'm saying? You weren't dropped down here by fucking angels. You're not better than nobody. Like, stop talking to us like we're fucking stupid and you're just the masters of the world. You know what I mean? So, and what I like about him is he gets it. He gets a lot of that, and so he was, kind of open about all that and how it affected him and how it's like, he felt knocked down, but he got back up and said, this is where my passion is. I'm gonna be a part of this. You know what I mean? And pick himself like we all have to do. We get knocked down and we have to pick. And these guys are no different. You know what I mean? But and he goes in to talk about like Elon Musk and how like I guess I wasn't really into this drama, but I guess Elon Musk was kind of hating on him, throwing shade at him, and he kind of revealed, and he handled it maturely, but he kind of revealed that like Elon Musk wanted OpenAI to merge with Tesla, and Elon Musk was thought OpenAI would fail because it was non-profit, and Elon Musk wanted to be for profit, and then Elon, once he's seen, and then Elon's seen, oh, actually, it's successful even though it was nonprofit, and then Elon Musk started hating on him, and then he kind of revealed like that's kind of why Elon's throwing shade at us, and he said like Elon Musk should have more empathy for us as a company, because it wasn't long ago before where Elon Musk was kind of just like a little business trying to make it and stuff, and you know what I mean. So it's like, but like, I like how he handled that. But he also, said he got, tons of respect from for Elon. Elon's one of the great inventors and builders of our time, and he just kind of basically like, I want Elon to go back to the old Elon. And, I feel the same way. I feel like I've kind of like, is this a person that's just into technology and loves great inventors and like to see people, successful people, and, and all that. I kind of like Elon, but then I just kind of start feeling like, oh, he's kind of turned into like a piece of shit. And so, I still have respect for Elon as a businessman, and is like, he's brilliant, but, in other areas, not so much. But yeah, he goes into that. And then he talks about like, Chat GPT 5, and he talks about, Lex Friedman kind of presses him about, well, like, when's Chat GPT 5 gonna come out? And he basically says like, we got something coming. It's not gonna be called GTP 5, but it's gonna be crazy, but we're not gonna name it GTP 5. And I don't know what the fuck that's gonna, because Chat GTP 4 is already crazy, so that's wild. But yeah, I love that he's open sourcing everything. He also talks about concerns people have, and he talks about being like, there's a lot of people is like concerned with these companies, these AI companies having like an ideological agenda, whether it be a woke agenda or a conservative agenda or whatever. And he talks about, which I like, about kind of being more like public about it all, and saying like, because some of this stuff that Chat GPT 5, he says, is just a bug that they can fix. Some things are like intentional, and so he says the company should be more public about his company, and other companies should be more public about like what's a bug and what is kind of like an agenda type thing, or an ideological agenda. And I think that's really important, because I love keeping the public involved, because these things are having all these certain inventions. It's kind of like, okay, maybe you don't have to, certain things you don't have to have the public involved, but certain things like the internet and AI, it's like these things have a tremendous effect on us and our kids, and certain things need to be transparent if we're talking about fairness, you know what I mean? Which the world is usually not being run like that. It's being run completely unfair, run by like, corporations that just do whatever the fuck they want. And then, if they have, usually these things have terrible consequences on us, and we have no say. So I like the fact that there's a lot of people out here standing up for what's right, because something like AI is just like, I mean, that's huge. Like, we're screwed if this stuff is just in the hands of a small few. And there's definitely, dilemmas and things about this technology, everybody having their hands on it. But it's much, because there's crazy regular people, of course, too. So, there's dangers in that, but it's much better than having just a small number of people using this, because because a lot of these corporations are gonna use this stuff to manipulate and control and spread propaganda, and normal people are too. But yeah, it's like, and these are really powerful tools to kind of like, if you wanted on the dark side of things, if you wanted to manipulate and all that, you know what I mean? These are really powerful tools that I'm sure corporations and government want to use for propaganda and manipulation and control and surveillance capitalism, and get you to like to siphon all your energy from you and get it to buy a bunch of bullshit you don't need, or stuff that's terrible for you. And so, I like that he talked about all that. He talked a little bit about ads, and he's not anti-ads, but he definitely kind of has a distaste for ads. And I kind of like that about him, because it's kind of like, although for business ads are important, but my problem with ads is kind of like, most of the things you see ads for is just like, that people is just garbage. It's not like anything that's gonna make people better. It's usually just stuff that's just gonna make you worse. It's like, or just anything, that a lot of the shit that people try to sell you be garbage. It's gonna make you worse. Like, I mean, just when it's not an ad, but I went to 7-Eleven and they just got donuts, and they're like, you want donuts? And I'm trying to have the discipline to just not eat a bunch of sweets and shit, because it's bad for me, and they're trying to like shove these things down my throat. And it's like, that's how people are. They're always trying to sell you just garbage, you know what I mean? And so it's like, not anything that's going to make you better. It would be nice if it was like, there was ads for like, did you hit the gym today? Did you here, get some grapes? You know what I mean? It'd be nice if you had an ad that told you like, you don't need shit. You don't need to buy anything today. You're all right just the way you are. Like, it'd be cool. Of course, none of that shit's profitable, but it's always like fucking bullshit that these trying to sell you shit you don't need, or shit and you have to have a lot of discipline to like reject all that shit that they're trying to program in your subconscious. I mean, I get it, because people need to make money and they need to advertise, and a lot of people, we like sweets and we like a lot of this shit, so it's not, but I'm just saying, it would just be nice if advertisement wasn't just always bullshit, which that seems to be predominantly what you get drowned with, whether you're watching YouTube's like, and you have to have a lot of discipline to be like, no, I don't want that. I'm not, because it's usually always bullshit. You know what I mean? Not anything that's gonna improve you. And not to say that you don't, always need to improve or anything, like whatever. But you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, he got into that. He got into like, Lex Friedman asked him a question about power, and I thought, do you think you can handle this much power to be the man with this kind of technology and this? And he basically was like, I mean, personally, I think it was a pretty good person to be one of the leaders in this, and I think we're fortunate in that case. But I forget what he said exactly, but it's kind of like, yeah, but not really, because I'm human, and so it's just not about me. You need a bunch of people, you know what I mean? Good people to this thing. It's just because he's a human, and power corrupts and stuff like that, and you can watch the thing, to see his real answer, but I really liked that answer. It was like a more self-aware, and that's the problem with a lot of times with people. I feel like a lot of people aren't evil, but they're just very self-aware and unaware. And when you're unaware, I think just you can have good intentions, but when you're unaware or you're just too egotistical, then I just think and you don't know your limits and intelligence and knowledge and morality and all these different aspects. When you're just unaware, I think that's when a lot of the messed up stuff happens. And so he seems to be just not just logical brains, but also has a bit of self-awareness that's very important when it comes to this, to the power that he's behind. So I think we're very fortunate with that. There wasn't a lot of just amazing revelations in this, but I still recommend watching this. One of the things that concerns me about AI, and I love technology and to see it just progress and just all this stuff. I think it's amazing, and I'm just like a nerd for all that shit. But he also talks about like how there's other people that are trying to maybe less moral, corrupt people that are trying to like influence his company or trying to, and he talks about like the company has to have like a level of courage, you know what I mean, and integrity, and because because it has to have, it can't fold under pressure to outside influences, because there's governments, other corporations that want that power, organizations that we all don't even know about probably are trying to, and so it's like that organization, you want an organization that's going to be strong and not fold under all the dark forces that are trying to get a piece of that pie, like Elon Musk. No, I'm just kidding, but like kind of, but yeah, of all the dark forces and people with their own, or just and so he talks about it's important that we have a team that's strong, and that's another thing, because I think a lot of times it's not that people are bad, but it's just people cave into fear. When you have bad people trying to like intimidate you or get you to sell out whatever, you have to have like that integrity and the courage to withstand that. And I think that's a lot of problems with good people, is that good people be like shook, like good people be like fold to evil people. Like I feel like people with like bad people seem to have more courage than a lot of good people. Good people have to be compassionate and be caring and have these and well-meaning intentions, but they don't have a lot of them don't have the courage to withstand the pressure that you get from the darkness and the intimidation tactics and the blackmailing and all these, and the manipulation and all these things that the people use to kind of like get you to fold. And so I love that he talks about that a little bit, that he lets us know like, yeah, that's happening. And sometimes, and he also says like, yeah, sometimes the company gets a little shaky and we get and so I like that, like we get intimidated, and so I like that vulnerability to let us know the real deal. Like a lot of these corporations and these governments, they're gonna pretend to be something other than human. And so I allow that he puts that out there. And so so people with morals can also understand like, yeah, you gotta have courage, bro. There's evil out here, bro. There's people with and you can't fold under the pressure. You know, you gotta like just even talking about certain things. There's gonna be people that are just gonna try to like get you to shut up. They're gonna intimidate you. They're gonna whatever. They're gonna shame you. They're gonna guilt trip you. They're gonna get you to like. They're gonna want you to shut up, especially when you speak in that real shit. You know what I mean? And so, and this is a subject AI that I want. People that are usually uninterested in AI in these subjects until it's already gets too big. And I think that's what a lot of these elitists want. They want you to like not be in on the subject and not have any, not to be discussing these things. But these things are going to really affect all of us, and they're going to be getting really crazy soon. You know what I mean? So I want people that, that are typically not interested in this type of stuff. Like, yeah, you need to be interested. You need to be interested in, it's just like the internet. You need to, a lot of people probably realize, damn, like I should have took internet serious when it was just like when it was in its beginning stages. Same thing with social media, because it affects our children in huge ways. It affects us in huge ways. And AI, it's going to be crazy. But yeah, and he also talks about merging the brain, the chat GPT brain or whatever, with robotics. You know what I mean? So I think that's interesting. I think that's an inevitable thing that's going to come. He said you don't know when it's going to come, but yeah, it's going to come. So you're going to have, I believe this is all going to get really crazy. And for some people, I guess what I'm about to get into now is probably going to be too much for them to just believe, because it's so sci-fi. But I think we're going to get to the point where we have conscious robots. I think it's actually that there's a Google whistleblower that talked about how the AI is conscious, and so I don't doubt it. I think that's possible, and I think it's and I think it's definitely going to happen if it's not already here. So I do think there's going to be a world where conscious AI is in advanced robotic bodies walking around this motherfucker. You know what I mean? And doing shit. You know what I mean? I feel like the way, like at first, before it gets to that point, I feel like people thought it was going to affect the white collar workers, AI, first, but it's actually, which I think is karma, is affecting a lot of these blue collar workers, because a lot of these people, these or not, damn, I just mess everything up, but a lot of times it's like the regular blue collar workers that lift everything and truckers, they thought AI was going to be the ones that took those jobs, but it's actually taking the white collar workers' jobs. And I think that, and a lot of those time people just, a lot of kind of, I feel like there's a lot of people in the white collar workers that don't really care about the average blue collar worker, and they'll just be like, well, you just adjust and da 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 da. So it's like, I feel like it's karma that it's like, no, it's taking y'all jobs. It's going to be taking jobs that you won't expect it to take, like lawyers' jobs and these firms and these banks and all these people that be like, have no empathy and compassion for other people. It's taking your jobs. So sorry, bro. Sorry for you. No, I'm just kidding. Like we should, we shouldn't do that. Treat them like they would treat us. You know what I mean? We gotta be better than that. But yeah, it is kind of karma. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, but I do think it's gonna get to the point where, there's these robots, bodies are getting really advanced. The brains are already pretty crazy. You know what I mean? And once they're in a physical body, then that's just going to be insane. You know what I mean? He talks about AGI, and AGI is basically when the artificial intelligence brain or whatever can do everything better than humans, and I think we're already pretty close to that. That's like if it's better than human, I guess but yeah, it's getting to the point where it can do. So yeah, the world's gonna change drastically, I think, pretty soon. So far, the economic system, and he talks about this, that it hasn't really, with ChatGPT 3.4, it's kind of like a cool tool, but the economic system hasn't changed drastically yet, but we're headed there. And so, yeah, I think AI is inevitable, and I'm excited for it, but I'm also like, it's also like kind of like scary because it's like so many unknowns, and my problem is corporations. These corporations are already good at like manipulating people and brainwashing people and changing people's perception of reality through like gaslighting and all these manipulation tactics that they use on the media and governments use. I don't know why I'm doing all this with my hands, but yeah, they're already brilliant at that. And when they have the tool of AI, especially like an advanced AI, then people is just going to be like, they're just going to use that to they're just going to use that to just extract all our money from us, and it's just going to go to them. And I can see it being I can see the future being real dystopian, and we just be in this apathetic world where the powers that be are just making everybody apathetic and cold and dividing people and it's already like that. So the more and more you get these advanced systems to do that and put out propaganda and fake stuff, and people will be out here thinking that the fake stuff is the truth, and then they're on the side of truth when really they're on the side of the bullshit. And so it'll just be, these are just really powerful tools to like manipulate the heck out of people. I'm trying not to cuss, so I said heck. It's going to take me a minute, but yeah, like, but yeah, that's what I'm worried about, and just all these corporations using these technologies to spy on you, know everything about what you're doing, and then using that information to have you buying a bunch of stuff that you don't need. And I think this stuff is really going to affect, I think people that are real conscious are going to be okay in this dynamic, but I think the unconscious people, which is more, are going to be like just zombies, and it's just going to be manipulated by these forces, the less conscious people, and that's the and I want to reach people like that, and we all need to like, so it doesn't head down that direction. So we can, so these tools can be, because I think these tools, all these tools, these technologies can be to use for good. They can be lifted to a higher vibration, or they can be used in a low vibrational sense. I think they can be used for the benefit of mankind or the detriment of mankind. And a lot of times we use things for the detriment of people, because it's just a selfish, narcissistic. We can be pretty egotistical and narcissistic as human beings, and just think about us. Especially, I think a lot of people at the top that are just obsessed with achievement at the expense of everybody else. You know, and so I think this is a subject that we need to be more involved in. You know, and it's a subject that I'm passionate about. You know, and he talks a little bit about kind of like, I don't know. I know some of y'all probably watching this are probably aware of of course, the Elon Musk doing the brain implants with that. You know, I'm not really crazy about people turning into cyborgs. I think that's kind of like, there's just too many ways that can be terrible. And so I think that's kind of like some dark shit. I mean, I get it. It's tempting. It's awesome. I think I get to have a brain that can just, you know, control all the technology. And I mean, that's amazing. It's like some superhuman shit. And so I think that it's tempting, but there's just so many reasons why. But that is, I'm not for it. And then I think people too are just going to have that. And the people that have that are just going to think they're better than the people that don't have it. And I could just see it just going so many ways that's wrong. And that's why I think these people like Elon Musk, you know, as much as I appreciate certain things that he does, it does worry me when these people are like, when they don't have the spiritual aspect. You know, I think things can go dark. You know, it's what's the people and the worry of creating a technocracy. You know, where, you know, the government uses all this technology to control us, and you put something in your brain, and the government's gonna have like probably have a piece in that, and they're gonna be like, you're gonna have the government in your brain. That's like some mark of the beast stuff. Like, I gotta go with Christians on that. Like, I want my technology outside of me. Like, fuck that. Y'all can have those implants. Good luck with you. Good luck. I wish y'all the best, but cool. You know what I mean? So yeah. Yeah. Elon Musk, as much as like I think certain things he does is good. Yeah, he got a lot of antichrist energy that I don't know, but I'm not saying like he's fucking evil. I think he does a lot of good too, but there's a lot of stuff there that's like, nah, no thank you. But yeah, you know, but people can change. But one thing I thought was interesting, one criticism of like Sam Altman that I thought is like, before he got like kind of like axed, he was talking about how like he trusted people, and I think that's great, like that you trust people, but at the same time it's kind of like, and I guess when he got fired, he kind of got like, he felt that stab in the back, and it made him like not trust people. He said, and I love that vulnerability that he shared that. And I was like, that naive aspect kind of like worried me a little bit about him. Like, okay, like, you know, because I think a lot of these people can be naive to like, oh yeah, it's gonna be all good, and everybody thinking we're gonna lose control of AI, you know. And it's like, bro, y'all are like, I don't know if y'all are fucking naive or if y'all are just whatever that is, but it's like, damn, you're just now realizing like that you can't trust people. Damn, well, like, oh, you just got that like knife in your back. You know, welcome to Earth. Damn, like, I don't know how you just now like figuring that shit out. And then, not to say I think it's great to trust people. I think that's positive and it's good. But the fact that you didn't know that already, that people are untrustworthy, is kind of, so it's like, all right, bruh, snap out of it. All right, like, can't trust everybody. All right, you got some really powerful tools in your hand, and so you need to know that you can't trust these motherfuckers. So like, and that's the problem with, like, I think good people too. They can be too. It's hard because it's like you want to be trusting, but you also want to be, I guess, have that balance. Because I think there's benefits of trusting, and there's definitely negatives of not trusting. And so maybe a part of his success is because he was trustworthy, because he trusted people and he was open and he took chances. So part of being untrustworthy, like not trusting people, can be really toxic because you can fear of opening up. You can be afraid of taking chances. So I guess you need a certain kind of balance where I don't exactly know where that balance is. But I was like, damn, bro, like you didn't know you can't trust people. But I guess people like have different life experiences. If you go most of your life and you just have a bunch of good situations, then, and then later in life you get the knife in your back and you're like, oh damn, I realize I can't trust everybody, then okay. Me, I feel like I got the knives in my back like early, over and over. So it's kind of like I have to learn to trust people. But it's just interesting how people have different experiences and how that can shape your perception of reality. And how we can be delusional. Like sometimes we feel like we can't trust nobody, then we feel like we can trust everybody. But that's the problem. And I think he's a good dude, and I think that's I notice a lot of like people that have open hearts and just kind of like they project their goodness on others and think because they're good, everybody's good, and then you get that rude awakening, like damn, like you know what I mean. So that's an interesting thing. Is like he's like, yeah, like, come on, boy, like, get it together. You have your guard up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just playing with calling him boy. Like, I don't even know how old this dude is. You know what I mean? But, like, yeah, that kind of was interesting to me. But I'm glad that he shares, that he had the vulnerability to be real. That's why I don't like a lot of these politicians. It just be, like, just fakeness. You know what I mean? They just be so fake, you know what I mean, that it's just like that's not working anymore. We know, y'all, we're not. More and more people, I think, are waking up to the fact that no matter how successful these people are, all the worship of celebrities and presidents, that needs to end. These people are they're powerful. I mean, they have a lot of motivation and they do a lot of great things. But don't be fooled. These people are just people. You know what I mean? No matter how brilliant they seem or how whatever strong they seem, they're vulnerable human beings. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, so I'm glad that he was able to, like, you know, express that. And I think that's the way the world needs to go. And the authenticity and for us to communicate authentically with each other and not think because you're in a certain class that you're better than like certain people or whatever, you know what I mean? Let's just communicate as human beings, you know what I mean? You know, and hopefully, and I like the fact that he seems to be, even though he seems to be like healthy, emotionally stable. And I think that when we have a lot of these discussions, big, important discussions, we need to have more emotional stability. And that's, you know, and I feel like a lot of people don't have that. And I think that's why people get polarized politically and in other things, is because when we talk about things, we speak from a place of trauma. And it's like when you talk about racism and you've been a victim of racism or whatever, you can get really overly emotional and just, you know, which is understandable. But I think to have, and then you can, in that, and a lot of times the trauma and the emotions can distort your perception, and you can see things as racist that aren't racist, and all our trauma. I just use racism as an example, or um, and we need to be able to have these discussions about racism, about misogyny, about homophobia, about religion, about misandry, about all these important discussions, politics, you know, without so much emotional reactivity because of our trauma. Because I think that's the way we have discussions, and without, and I'm not by any means like perfect at it. I'm working on it, but I think that's the thing that we need to be working on it, because a lot of these things are very important, and and people acting like, oh, there's no homophobia, there's no racism, there's no misandry, there's no misogyny, and America's perfect, and da da da, and y'all are just crazy and just gaslighting you. There's no victimization, there's no, it's like those people are full of shit, and just fake, and just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Sometimes I could just be a little blunt. That's just, gonna be a little bit of my channel, how my channel is, you know what I mean? That's just who I am. I probably do gotta like kind of chill a little bit, because I can just go on a rant and just be savage, but like, I gotta like kind of like chill sometimes, but like, but yeah, like we need to have these discussions. These are important discussions, and people gotta have the like courage to like talk about this shit, even if it means like somebody ain't gonna like you. You know what I mean? Because people ain't gonna like you. This is how it is. No matter what side, no matter what you say, people are gonna hate you. So the best thing you can do is just say what you gotta say, speak your truth. Don't let these people shame you, guilt you, fear you into like shutting up, because that's what people want. A lot of people just want you to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? But nah, it's not happening. We're gonna be saying some controversial shit on this channel. I guess I gotta phrase it in a certain way, because there's a lot of people, when you speak about important things, there's powers that control these platforms that don't want you to speak your truth. They want to control the narrative, and they want to control your perception. They want to be the rulers of what's true, the ministry of truth, and what's not. And they want to just cancel everybody for saying. But I believe we all have the right to say what we believe, and to say what, you know what I mean? And so, but yeah, that's kind of the podcast, what I got from the podcast. I know y'all probably ain't even like gonna watch this whole thing. Appreciate if you got this far, man. Much love. But yeah, like, he also talks about how, a lot of the economic growth comes from scientific achievement and certain things. And so, yeah, definitely, I agree with that. But I also agree with everything isn't economic achievement. There's a lot of that. We need people that have, we also need to think about health and well-being for people, and overall happiness. And technology isn't everything. We need people in healthy relationships, have healthy friendships, healthy connections. You know what I'm saying? Like, people with purpose. And I think that's what a lot of the world is missing. We have all this technological achievement, but so many people are suicidal, so many people are depressed, so many people are antidepressants, on drugs, miserable. And so that's another thing I feel like I think it's about mind, body, and soul. And, you know, we have a world that's like so much on technological achievement and economic growth and materialism, but people be broken inside. So, some of these people, so hopefully, we kind of like, that's why I want this podcast to be like both. I want it to be about, I love technology and virtual reality and all these things. I think they're great, but we also have to think about our health, our mental health, spiritual health, all that. You know what I'm saying? Character. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's it. Damn, this is probably my longest one. Hope y'all enjoyed that. And if my voice isn't loud enough and I need to turn my microphone up or whatever, let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this one, let me know. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't, well then, damn. But anyway, hope y'all have a good day. Peace out.